Good afternoon, everyone. Thank you so much for joining us today. We know 420 is top of mind as we get closer to the biggest sales day of the year. This annual holiday creates great opportunities to maximize revenue, build your customer base, and drive customer loyalty. So to help you get ready, we've created the ultimate 420 dispensary guide covering everything from smarter marketing for bigger sales, the right inventory right in time, and insights into creating an omni-channel sales strategy. So this resource is really designed to help dispensary owners level up their operations to make more money and delight customers this 420. So we'll send you the full guidebook to review via email. I'll also drop a link to the PDF in the chat here in just a minute if you want to follow along as we review. So getting the maximum benefit out of this holiday really requires thoughtful preparation, making sure you have the right products, strategic discounts, well-trained bud tenders, targeted marketing and cross promotions, and a customer experience that will keep customers coming back to you long after the holiday ends. So as the second 420 of this pandemic, it also requires extra preparation to spread out the crowds to keep everyone safe and happy. So as we move through the webinar today, feel free to drop your questions in the chat. We'll pause a few times to answer them. Running today's workshop is Wally Wong, who is on the Meadow SoCal team, and he also leads our education and social equity programming. So Wally, are you ready? Shall we get into it? Let's go.
I am. Can you see me right now?
Yep.
Okay. Because I'm not coming up on the screen. I'm just making sure that everyone can see me. Hi, everyone. I'm Wally. I am, thanks so much for being here. Hey, Nikki, I see ya. Hey, Tommy, how are you guys doing? Hey, Jenny, we got a nice tight group today and we're gonna get into it. For those that don't know us, since 2014, Meadow has been built California-specific cannabis point-of-sale software. We do delivery, e-commerce, CRM, and marketing that's all designed for speed, volume, and profitability. Our all-in-one platform has the tools you need to run and scale your business while saving time, increasing revenue, which is what we're here today to talk about, growing and marketing your customer base, and staying compliant on each and every inventory transaction. On Meadow, your tax records will always be accurate and your data is always secure. With Meadow, you can sell in-store, online, as well as execute pickup and delivery orders all inside Meadow without any third-party integrations. We do integrate with Weedmaps, Leafly, as well as QuickBooks, and you're even able to use Google Tag Manager to track real-time dynamic engagement on your website using our Meadow e-commerce menu. With Meadow, you retain all your customer data across all your sales channels. You can launch targeted texting campaigns with our new native text marketing functionality built directly into your Meadow dashboard. It's a powerful new way for dispensaries to communicate directly with your most loyal and engaged customers and send personalized messages that drive sales, brand loyalty, and lifetime customer value. We're the fastest, most complete, and easy to use system in California, and I can say with confidence that all of the teams that run Meadow operate at a higher level of compliance. So here we got some happy Meadow customers. We have small mom and pop shops to some of the biggest dispensaries and delivery services in the state. We work hand in hand with our customers, incorporating their feedback from real world issues to create solutions and workflows to help them be more efficient. We pride ourselves on creating happy partners and offering ongoing support and educational resources like today's workshop because we truly care about this industry and want to see you thrive. So, all right. So this is what we're going to do today. We're going to get through what we get through because as you see, I hope you guys take advantage of this. Download the guide. You're going to get copies of the guide after the fact. But take advantage of what we're getting through, what we're going over. And, you know, we're going to go for 40 minutes here, kind of work our ways through the guide. And by the end, you know, if you have questions, pop them in the chat. And we're just trying to share some best practices that we've gained from the consultants we work with, the teams we work with to help drive sales and make it a more profitable 420. Okay, so the first section we're going to cover today is marketing. So the key to effective marketing is knowing your customers and sending them the deals, info, and messages they care about. This is where your CRM comes in, okay? So for those of you in the room that aren't running Meadow, right now, if you're paying someone who's doing your marketing or one of your salespeople, they need to go in and start cleaning up your CRM. Your CRM is only as valuable as how clean the data is. Because if you have all these unfinished customer profiles, multiple, we know in cannabis, all these multiple and numerous accounts, duplicates, let's try to get that cleaned up so we can execute marketing in a personalized manner. This makes such a huge difference because the end game, the name of the game is retention. So your CRM ultimately is your database. It's going to tell you who your customers are, how they were referred to you, which is really important because you're going to have a lot of foot traffic and or calls and inbound e-commerce traffic. Finding out, this is like, take this as a prime opportunity to kind of reestablish where you're actually getting your referrals from, okay? And what I'm talking about is how much it is actually coming through Weedmaps. If you're having to pay a lion's share of your marketing, which we so very do here in California, to Weedmaps, try to get your sales staff to really notate where did they hear about you? Is it just by word of mouth? Is it through Weedmaps? Just so you know going forward where your marketing dollars are better spent. Your CRM is also going to tell you what they buy, of course, customer purchase history. Hopefully, if you're not running Meadow, that it's got that. We've got that native inside the system. Sales staff as well as dispatchers can immediately see the entire customer purchase history, how they like to shop, and who becomes a repeat customer. Okay, that gets into loyalty and rewards, which we'll talk about here in a minute. So the idea here is for you to leverage all this CRM data to send smarter marketing campaigns to targeted customer groups for bigger sales and higher ROI. Okay, so that's a lot of stuff in that sentence. So let's break it down. When we're saying sending smarter marketing campaigns, this isn't just limited to text marketing. This is direct mail. This is your neighboring businesses, where this goes back to where they're getting referred from. It's not a bad time to go around to your neighboring businesses and shake some hands. Is it okay that I leave some postcards that'll give 10% off with the promo code? Hopefully at this point, your point of sale employs that. You're able to execute promo codes that you can track the ROI. You can actually see how many of there are redeemed. Once again, that's native functionality in Meadow. You can create a promo code, execute a text campaign, and then see the conversion on it, who actually used it, and actually also create one, print it on a postcard, and then have it see the ROI. So you can see, once again, connect the dots on where they were getting referred from, which customer groups they belong to. All right, let's move forward, because we're going to talk next about creating those discounts and promos that work. So for those of you that are in the room, you know, we know discounts and promos take on a different meaning in the world of cannabis. They help you move the inventory that's not moving quickly while keeping customers happy and giving them a reason to come back. So you want to go ahead right now, if you aren't already, you can already set discounts, automatically set discounts that'll apply automatically by day of week, time of day, brand, category, or product, like our typical happy hours. Once again, I hope your POS allows you to do that. And then market those discounts to drive the traffic you want when you want it to the customer groups. Okay, so let's go back a little bit. Let's connect some dots. We got our customer, we got our CRM. We got our customer data. A lot of different ways to break that down. We can do it regionally, friends and neighbors, customers that are very close, neighboring businesses, right? Okay, friends and family, people who are related. Or we can also look at people who love Stizzy, right? And we can organize a customer group and say, these are all the Stizzy people, or these are edibles people, right? Because we're looking at their customer data, their order history. Now we create a discount and we market that discount by the product group or product brand and execute a promo code or a discount, happy hour discount, to once again drive the traffic back in. We recommend using single-use promo codes by customers. Put an expiration date on them so you don't do yourself a disservice. In Meadow, you can do that. You can create a promo code and have an expiration date on it so people don't take advantage of it. And also throughout April, you should consider setting up a mix of discounts and promos aimed at different segments of your customer base. So this is going into whether you're doing the daily deals, the member specific deals, BOGOs, buy one, get ones, percent-based discounts, dollar-based discounts, loyalty discounts, or if you want to do or off of the loyalties, if you want to do VIP rewards with like non-cannabis products, right? Re-engagement offers, referral-based discounts, and cross promotions with top-selling brands. So back to the text marketing. Let's talk about that last one, cross promotions with top-selling brands. We already know that the brands want to engage with you regarding getting in your shelf space or getting on your menu. Let them put their social media muscle behind you, as well as we see often that distributors and brands specifically are more than willing to engage in some sort of partnership around providing a promo code or paying for text campaigns. It's a really savvy way. They want, that's the one thing they can't do, right? They can't connect directly with the customer. That's your job as the retailer. You're the gatekeeper to the customer. Take advantage of that and let that be reflected not only in what they're bringing to bear for your marketing campaigns, but also what they're willing to the net terms on your orders themselves. It's a good time to negotiate on that because everybody wants to move right now for 420. All right. So let's go. Any questions so far? We good? So quiet. All right, let's keep them moving. So let's go to 3 keys to strategic discounts. All right. Number 1, move the right products. Move the slow and unproductive inventory through discounts. They're tying up valuable shelf space and capital. Identify your slowest moving products with the lowest numbers of units sold on an average day, and move them out. You'll make customers happy with great deals while clearing room for more productive SKUs, okay? Make it automatic. Don't waste time manually applying discounts to each individual purchase on 420. Create automatic discounts that let your bud tenders keep their focus on the customer and make transactions quick and seamless by putting them on autopilot. And lastly, let the right people know. The most effective discounts are tailored to the customer. If you're running a discount on a topical, reach out to customers who have purchased that SKU before or other topical brands. You'll drive immediate interest and sales while retaining repeat customers in the long run. Okay, as our friend Sarah Batesh, some of you were here yesterday with our great inventory panel with an upselling panel with Sarah Batesh, senior consultant at Batesh Buying Group, she's just incredible, such a wealth of knowledge, as well as Natalie Gay, who's great at who's a real pro at the upselling portion of the conversation. As Sarah likes to sell, you can't be scared. As Sarah likes to say, you can't be scared to mark products down. If the product doesn't sell, get rid of it. You need the space for something else. And right now, we're borderline right in this moment. So many new brands coming online. There's just so much in the space. So make sure you're putting your stocking wisely, and you're using your actual inventory data and your sell-through to inform what you're putting on your shelves or on your menu. All right. So let's talk about paying attention to your best customers. A recent study by Bain and Harvard Business School found that increasing your customer retention rate by 5% increases profit by 25 to 95%. Okay, let that sink in. That's huge, right? Because this is the new name of the game. This is where we're at right now in this moment, that with so many retailers coming online, with so much, with the space getting wider, with more people, with more competition for you as a retailer, the name of the game is retention. An investment in current customers yields huge returns. It's much less expensive than marketing to new customers, hashtag weed maps, with far greater ROI. Okay. So think of that. I talk to so many new operators coming online, and this goes back to cleaning up that internal CRM. This is all moot and is not of no value if your CRM data is funky. So if your system is not giving you accurate CRM data, you are doing it's losing you money at this point. I don't say that lightly. If you cannot quickly access your sales data, your customer data, then you are spending more money on weed maps. Your POS, no joke, is pushing you into the corner of doing pay for play for customer acquisition. This is how it works, okay? Because you're not able to engage in true marketing and go beyond acquisition. You're always behind the eight ball of doing customer acquisition with no way to smartly reinvest those dollars into retention. And that's where all these loyalty, everything we're talking about, we got to connect the dots on that, on how important that is going forward. All right. So the first one, we're just talking about this. I'm talking about it. I'm blabbering at the mouth about it. Know thy customers. Create groups. Group your customers, right? First step, sales staff, receptions, people, your dispatchers, if you're delivery, if you're taking phone orders, they need to make sure that those profiles are complete. That's the first step. They're the first line. I was at a new dispensary in downtown Los Angeles. Beautiful store. It's going to be gorgeous. Can't wait for it to open. That is for those new operators in your room. That is it's a huge chance that from day one, you train your reception, your frontline staff to capture the data accurately. It may take a little bit more time. They may say, I don't know why, but consider it back to that first statement. An investment in current customers yields the returns. It's worth it. If it takes just a little bit longer to get the customer data, just think of it this way. This is the simple way to think about it. Any action you do to retain the data and make it more accurate is less dollars you give to weed maps. It's just about that simple, because there's a direct line in terms of the entire time investment versus how much you're going to have to spend for acquisition on weed maps and to keep your pin the right size, as we all know how that goes. All right. Create a loyalty program worth joining. This is great. So I always like to bring up Magpies. It is a wonderful soft serve ice cream joint here in Los Angeles that I love to visit. They have a couple locations. And their loyalty program, this is the thing. I love their product. I love their ice cream. My son and I love their ice cream. And they have a good loyalty program. It's nothing crazy. It's just one of those text loyalty programs, which you're able to do a similar thing here on Meadow. You have these amounts of loyalty rewards. Do you want to come in and use them? That works. I go in and use my loyalty points frequently with my son, because I'm connecting those two things and I have a good customer experience while I'm there. So if the version 1 of it, you can get very sophisticated and do tiered loyalty, right? Where we do like fractional points per dollar and have like a triangle of moving up depending on how much they spend. Or it can be straightforward, is they get a set amount of points, or dependent on how much when they order, how many times they visit versus how much they spend. These are the two things we're looking at, whether how many times they order or how much they spend, and connecting points to that. But have something. Choose one. And if you're having a good customer experience and you've got loyalty, then you can engage with them and get them back in the store. Establish a direct channel of communication. Okay, this can take many forms. On Meadow, it's super easy to establish a direct line to your repeat customers by opting them into text marketing. The easiest way to do that is to tie opt-ins to incentives they want. The best way to keep opt-ins, targeted relative messages and deals they care about. Okay, so this is a really great note, because often, as we see in cannabis, the text marketing can be pretty darn spammy. But if you connect them with a deal, to opt in, and this goes to your frontline. This goes to your frontline workers as well, people who are creating the orders on the phone, or who are being a receptionist. What this looks like: hey, not I need your name, address, phone number, and can you give me your email address? No, wrong. The correct way: would you like to join our loyalty program for 15% off your next order? I just need this a little bit of information, right? This is how we do it. We get the opt-in there, then and there, and now we can continue marketing. See how it all comes together in terms of your front of house staff and the actual programs itself? Any questions on that? I can't stress enough that it's changed so much in the past year, and that this, I think, in terms of COVID, two things there. The e-commerce portion, like the what we saw in Meadow, right? Because Meadow has a native menu. It's part of our functionality. We saw an over 200% increase, retail and delivery, through our e-commerce portion. Okay, and that's because of COVID. Nobody, dispensaries, some of people wanted to order ahead, wanted to order delivery, and it's not going anywhere. But it's also opened up a lot of different sales channels, right? I think before, and what this looks like in person, is specifically text marketing, that we do see it as a true sales channel now. Like, for example, and I don't know what texting platform you use, on Meadow, you can engage directly with the customer on an order specific. They can go right in bud tender, and it'll prompt a bud tender. And we have teams, to much success, upsell directly on the text campaign, text platform. Old school, the orders. So it used to be that the phone calls directly to the customer were when, hey, we don't got that. Not so much anymore, because of this great increase in orders all over, include on the delivery and on the order, on the pickup side. Now that when they call in to place an order, that person who takes that call, or calls to say they don't have the product, because that happens. I mean, it happens in cannabis. That's a really important person now. That's a really important true sales channel, and needs to be honored as such. Really consider it as an extension of, if you're a dispensary, of your in-store experience. If you're a delivery team, a rare opportunity to connect directly with your customers and establish a really wonderful relationship. That's the way, in terms of the ordering ahead and delivery, that the pandemic has really adjusted things and adjusted the way the customers' expectations are. All right. We're going to get into any questions so far. All right. Here we go. So we're going to get into segmenting your audience for targeted marketing. So we got into this before, where we're talking about creating segmented audience groups and send them targeted text messages to promote, to drive traffic, engagement, and sales. We talked about the CRM being super powerful and effective to create the audience segments. So once we're there, here are just some good examples for you to consider in terms of segmentation. If you don't know where to start, and here's the thing: if you don't know where to start and your data is meh, and you can't go into brands, like what they bought and zip codes, you can't get that deep. All right, let's look at loyal customers and big spenders. At the very least, your system should be able to provide you that, right? It's who's spending the most. So let's create a loyal customers and big spenders, because we can't lose them, right? So once we create a VIP customer group, look for these customers. It's the average total order price is greater than 200. Okay, start telling your team to start flagging them off, being okay, I need to start creating a spreadsheet. I need to know who's spending over 200 and clocking that engagement. And then if you do have a loyalty system, this also includes people who have loyalties and haven't redeemed them. So you set a threshold. So above 3,000 points, for example, would be a good one. Now let's consider it in terms of re-engagement. Can we find out who the customer who hasn't ordered in 90 days or more, right? And has ordered at least 2 times, okay? Because this removes tourists, okay? So they haven't ordered in 90 days or more and have ordered at least 2 times. So we're going to get rid of the tourists, because these are the people that they re-engaged with, maybe direct outreach. Product promotion, customers who meet any of these criteria. Has purchased products from that brand before, has purchased similar SKUs, and has purchased products from that category before, okay? So once again, we're breaking it down by brand. We can break it down by brand. Product category, they're just like in vapes, but I mean, if we get into concentrates and stuff, like that's a group unto itself, the people who really like concentrates. And then, or we can also break it down by just overall product category. All right. Any questions on that? All right. Look at this is a great slide. Let's just go through it, because this is really important. This may be the most important thing we cover today regarding the text messaging, because of the nature of it being spammy, of opt-in, of the legalities around it. If you are fire saling stuff and just like fire sale, burn it down tonight with Miss Grass pre-rolls, go, let's all get high. I tilt my hat to you and wish you the best on your deliverability rates, because you're gonna get flagged. So this is, and you're not gonna even see the ROI, I think, is what people don't get. You don't even get the ROI on the investment of the text texting itself, because it's spammy. No one likes it. The name of the game is personalization. So let's break this down. Each audience segment should get targeted custom messages. This drives conversions, ROI, customer loyalty, and by serving customers exactly what they want and making it easy order. So look at this green. We personalize it, okay, by adding customers' name and or loyalty point balance. These should be merge fields, right? Like in Meadow, we just put in a merge field. We put in name, and it's going to automatically put in, hey, Nikki. It's going to automatically merge that with the customer group. You send relevant messages here in the pink based on past purchases and preferences, okay? So this is when we're putting into action those customer groups or their purchase history, right? And then you send images and or GIFs with MSS messages to grab attention and show off what you're promoting, okay? So we know delivery operators do it to great effect. They will, they'll send a picture, because you got better deliverability. You send a picture of your weekly menu, right? And to show what's on, what you're gonna have on. But that you can also use images and GIFs just for engagement. Use the emoji keyboard to communicate meaning and emotion, and have a clear and easy call to action, okay? Like a link to your menu to order delivery or pickup. On Meadow, we have the most advanced targeting in cannabis marketing. We can do everything. We can do all of this and then some. We can create a campaign specific promo code. Like I said, we can show you the conversion off of that promo code. We can show you the conversion of orders off a campaign, right? That's really where we come in as being a really powerful solution that's not only compliant, but it's actually building your customer base. Okay. We're going to talk about the text marketing best practices. So right now, there's a whole list of do's and don'ts on the screen. I won't read them all, but the most important things to remember when sending cannabis texts is to remember to play it cool, right? Cannabis is still federally legal. We all know this, and carriers are cracking down on the messages that dispensaries are sending out. especially if you use flagged keywords like edibles, pre-rolls, lots of exclamation points. You want to ask yourself, does this message sound like something I might send to a friend? If not, you probably want to revise. This sounds like a no-brainer, but we see text messages from shops that don't identify who's sending the message. Don't just assume your customers are only opted in to your text campaigns and not at other stores. It's super important you tell them which shop is running the deals you are promoting, especially on 420. If you are running deals, is know that the customer base, they're looking for their best deals. So consider running at AM, PM, because the customers are going to bounce around between shops to get the best deal that day. It's like Christmas in April for our cannabis community. So finally, and this is very timely, the recent Facebook versus Guidebook ruling is a groundbreaking new interpretation of the TCPA, the Telephone Consumer Protection Act, by the Supreme Court. For Dispensary, it means the risk of sending out text marketing campaigns to customers just became significantly lower. I don't think it's done though yet, right? Like, let's not count our chickens before they hatch. But so still don't spam your customers, because no one likes spam. But the most important thing now is to make sure your customers aren't on the do not call list before sending them marketing messages. Okay? Any questions on that? All right. So we're going to talk about cross-promoting with brands now. And at Meadow, because we're seeing it all, right? We're seeing the inventory come in, we're seeing the marketing go, we're seeing the orders come in through the website. And we see a really big untapped opportunity for dispensaries to create strategic campaigns with brands you carry to reach both of your customers. And I know teams are already doing this. I mean, it's such a such a close alignment that the brand has to get on your shelves or to get on your menu. But as we all know, we all work together in the supply chain, from brands to distributors to retailers. It's so important. Collaboration is the name of the game. Here to create the goal is, and it's totally achievable, is to create a win-win-win situation for you, the brands you carry, and your customers. So what you want to do is, back to that CRM. We're going to be going back to that all day today. What this looks like is, do you want to, and you can create, in Meadow, you can create an infinite amount of CRM groups. So do we create a VIP customer group, but we also create a cookies customer group, right? So we're segmenting out our data both by the customers, by how much they spend, and then but by the brands. But we're considering this in terms of being able to show the brands the engagement to get them to help on the marketing push. I highly recommend this. And if you're not employing some version of this, it's because the brands are more than willing to to engage on this. So you want to look at it through a few different windows we can look at it. So for example, if you want to reach customers who are likely to purchase Mellows infused marshmallows, segment your customers to discover and reach relevant targeted audience groups. So right at the base, we have customers who buy Mellow products, edible products. Re-engagement opportunities, customers who have bought Mellow products but not in the last 60, 90 days, right? So that's back to that re-engagement segment. And then the high conversion potential, customers who buy similar products in the edibles category, okay? Next, you want to send messages that convert. So what you can do with this is because when you engage with these partnerships with the brands, they want to be able to inform the messaging, right? So you want to create messages that the brand's going to be happy with, so they'll come back and do it again. And also that's going to have some great conversion on the customers themselves, right? So you want to tweak the messaging for each audience for high conversion and high ROI. In Meadow, for example, if you're running us or going to be running us, you can actually give a marketing permission to a brand. You can create a user role inside your organization, inside your Meadow account, and give them only that. They can't touch your inventory, they can't create orders, they can't edit orders, but they can execute marketing campaigns and draft copy for those marketing campaigns. It's great functionality, and it's something to consider as you go forward. All right, I'm going to stop there. So I'm going to stop there for today because do we have any questions? But we're also doing this tomorrow morning again, and depending on the engagement, we may move it. If some of you join us for tomorrow in the morning, I'll get deeper in the inventory. But you also have all this in the guide as well. I got a question. Hey Gary, we're building a score from scratch currently. Have you found through marketing data that when stocking product for customers to see, is it better to have one of each item on display with more located? Ooh, these are my favorite questions, Gary. Or stock on the shelf as much as you can fit it. This gets into compliance. This gets into compliance and inventory workflow, okay? And you should reach out. We should talk. This is what I love talking about. So this is what you have to keep in mind, Gary, when you're talking about doing that initial stocking. Every inventory transaction is happening in 3 places in cannabis. It's happening in metric, it's happening in real time, and it's in the real world, and it's happening in POS, in your POS. Okay, and these 3 workflows are 3 separate workflows. That's why these cannabis point of sale systems are so important. If we were lucky and we were just selling coffee, wouldn't matter. Put anything anywhere. You know, you can put the CDs over by T-shirts, bling bling bling. No big deal. That's not how it works in cannabis, because every single item is connected to a specific package, right? And a package that needs to be reported on in terms of reporting to the state on track and trace. So specifically to your question, it's pretty significant. You got to consider this. I would not recommend, you got to consider it in terms of the audit, okay? 2 things, the audit and where the inventory and how the bags are put together. So we're still in cannabis. There's still shrinkage is still a thing, okay? In terms of internally shrinkage, that's still an issue with internal teams, as well as external people coming in, loss prevention. And so if you want to have live inventory, that's question, like really think about if you want to have a ton of live inventory. There's a reason that everything usually is, when we're talking about a traditional dispensary, is put behind the counter, okay? It's not only for security, okay, to connect the dots on this, it's because in the actual drawers, they're organizing their inventory first in, first out, okay? So by that, this is like the core tenet of cannabis inventory, first in, first out, because everything has a shelf life, everything has an expiration date. So just think of it in terms of milk. You're selling milk. You got to sell the milk you got received first. So if you have live inventory on the floor, you got to make sure that your sales team is organizing it, and it's going to be hard to keep in order, that it's package specific. So they're pulling from the oldest. So basically the newest stuff goes on the back, and then you pull from the front. I'm apprehensive to say have a ton of live inventory. I would say go spend some time, go to some dispensaries. Everything has its pros and cons. My favorite setup is to have demo inventory on the floor and do fulfillment in the back. The pharmacy workflow, basically, is what, imagine that. In Meadow, it's native. So you print, so basically a salesperson can create an order, a floating salesperson create an order. It's going to print to a fulfillment station in the back, and you can bag up the order. And it's 2 things. It's volume oriented, because at those same fulfillment areas, you are fulfilling your in-store pickup and delivery. And this is the big one, is the auditing and cycle counts going forward. We know for a fact in Meadow, because we have high functioning cycle counts, The teams that make the most money have the tightest inventory controls, like full stop. Like that is true. The people that are making the most are having the tightest inventory controls, and that's all built around the cycle counts. So cycle counts are, I'll tell you what it looks like in Meadow. When you receive inventory, you receive 50 edibles, right? You receive that transfer back to the 3 inventory worlds. You receive it in metric. You acknowledge you've received it in metric, which you do in Meadow. You only work in Meadow as it relates to metric, okay? You receive it in the POS, right, into R, and we're appropriating, this is a really important concept, you're appropriating the product to the package, okay? We do that in one workflow, and then it needs to be put in the last world, the real world. So that gets into labeling. So our labeling is package specific. Okay, so if you get 50 and you run labels on Meadow, those 50 edibles are going to be appropriated to the package. Why are we doing this? Because then if we stock first in, first out on the floor, all the sales staff has to do is scan. That's all they have to do. You take a huge compliance exposure out of their hands. All they have to do is scan now. All right. So it's a big question. If you're opening a new store, I would say this is what I always recommend. Do not get attached to your store flow. Do not make large investments in your cabinets, because sometimes the stores don't work how you want them to work. The customers and the customer flow isn't exactly right. It's not what you wanted. Go to some dispensaries. Go to some of your successful dispensaries around. I don't know if you're in SoCal. I always like to point people to Green Cross at Torrance. They're one of our Meadow partners. They crush it. And it's a traditional dispensary. It's counters. They have counters, and they also have all their stuff in the back, right? And that's because the value of having it in the back is easy organization and also auditing / cycle counts going forward. All right. I'm happy to engage on it. That's my favorite stuff to talk about, because so often I see new ownership spend a lot of money into store experience. And let me tell you, however much you're thinking, the money is better spent and time is better spent, quite frankly, and you'll get better direct ROI, no joke, by hiring experienced sales staff. Know why Green Cross of Torrance does so well, why all the great CCA and Silver Lake, they run us, Exhalants, they run us. Why they do so well is the front of the house floor staff are upselling. Classic retail, this is why it's so important. It's not just the products. This is where your sales staff, back to what I was saying at the beginning of the conversation, is so important. They affect your bottom line more than anyone. But the hard truth of it, highest turnover position, right? This is the hard part about it. So reach out to me, wally@getmeadow.com.
Thanks, Wally. Thank you, everybody, for being here. I hope that was helpful. Check the chat before we sign off. There is a link to join tomorrow's 10 a.m. webinar. Maybe we'll just pick up from inventory where we left off today. And you do have that full link to our guidebook, the Ultimate 420 Dispensary Guide. I hope that was helpful. We will send a link to that via email as well. Thank you for spending your afternoon with us, and we hope to see you all again soon. Take care, everybody.
Thank you all. Talk to you all soon.